Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today our topic is mean variance skewness kurtosis optimization, a polynomial goal programming model approach. This lecture is a continuation of the previous lecture. In the previous lecture, we studied that the portfolio selection is based on two moments of stats, that is the mean and the variance. And this is basically the proxy for return is taken as mean and the proxy for risk is taken as variance or standard deviation. And we assume that the stock prices or the stock returns are normally distributed. However, we have observed that the stock returns are not normally distributed. They exhibit the characteristics of skewness and kurtosis. And when skewness and kurtosis is there, our portfolio selection optimization problem turns to be a non-convex rather than a convex optimization, and it becomes a non-optimization problem also, as compared to what previously in the mean variance lecture we said, okay, it was a convex and smooth optimization problem. This is one of the major problem over there. Then there are another problem also that when we are incorporating the third and the fourth moment, what is happening? The first moment requires the optimization in forms of maximization, and the third moment, that is skewness, also requires an optimization in forms of the maximization problem, while the variance and the kurtosis they is the optimization problem where we have to minimize. So what will happen? There are four moments, and two of them we are maximizing, and two of them are we are minimizing. Previously, what was happen? Only the mean in the mean variance framework, we were for a given level of risk we were maximizing the return, or for a given level of return we were minimizing the risk. But over here now the problems become very complex because there are two maximizing problems and two minimizing problems. Then there is another problem also that was not identified before, that the different investors prefer different moments. Like an investor might prefer put more weightage on the return as compared to the risk, and some people are risk but they are more risk averse, so they put more importance to the variance. And we can extend to that to skewness and kurtosis also to accommodate them. That means different investors might be preferring different weights to it, and we will be discussing that thing in detail in the step number 3 when we'll be coming up. So, in order to solve this problem, we go for the multi-objective goal problem. Multi-objective, where we've got different objectives. Now we've got four objectives, so we call it polynomial goal programming. And it's a very significantly efficient because it's give us a good feasible solution. That's one of the. It's quick and it's feasible. These are the two important things. And plus it accommodates the problem of the first two moments, first and third moment, that has to be optimized as maximizing problem, and the second and third, that is the variance and kurtosis, that has to be optimized as a minimizing problem. And it's also has got a advantage that you can give different preference levels for the investors in terms of different moments. Like an investor wants to maximize is more cautious about the return rather than the risk. That means the investor is putting more weights, giving more weight, more importance to the return. So the return problem can be optimized giving more weights. Previously they were given equal weights, like if you remember the efficient frontier we have before. So basically when we want to go for the optimization problem, that's basically multi-objective in nature, we follow the polygon programming model, and it is basically a three-step approach. There are three major steps in it, and you have studied that thing before also. In the first step we define the four moments, okay, how return, how variance, how risk, skewness and kurtosis is defined. In the second is we optimize each moment individually irrespective of the other moment. Like we maximize return, we minimize variance, we maximize skewness, we minimize kurtosis. Why we are maximizing the minimum? We will discussing that thing in the later later half. Um, so we are maximizing and minimizing irrespective of the other moment. Only one condition is there, that all weight should be equivalent to 1. The once you have made the that is sort of an ideal situation, that is done in step number 3. Now in step number 3 we incorporate all the moments together and we give different preference level to the investors, and eventually we get a good answer, and that is a one answer. Now coming to the first step, that is the step number 1, we define the risk. Now if you remember, okay, if you remember risk over here, this is the matrix we have got. Okay, the risk is the weights into risk of the portfolio is equivalent to the expectation of the weights into uh, the deviation, the average weights. So this is how you define the risk. This is that is the weights into the average weight. Now, what Markowitz done, the variance was defined as the Markowitz was, okay, the variance is equivalent to the idiosyncratic risk plus the non-diversifiable risk, diversifiable plus the non-diversifiable. This is the diversifiable risk, this is the non-diversifiable risk. And if you remember the portfolio problem over there, that was if you go for the row matrix, that is your weight matrix and covariance matrix into your weight matrix. First you multiply these two together, then multiply with the weight matrix. So you need the covariance matrix. So your covariance matrix is built using this formula, and this will be a sample 2 by 2 matrix over here. Your diagonal entries are variances and cross diagonal entries are your covariances, where covariance of 1 2 is equal to covariance of 2 1, if you remember. This is a revision more or less. Now when you come to the skewness is basically with the power of 3. Coming back, over here was the power 1, over here was power 2. Now skewness is the power 3, and this is how you calculate the skewness over here, your diversifiability and non-diversifiability, the co-skewness and the skewness. Like over here, your variance and your covariances. These are your covariances, these are your variances. Likewise, this is your skewness and this is your co-skewness. So it will be, that means basically you have three, you've got the skewness over here, and this is might be the skewness factor, and now you've got 3 weights into it. Because it's a cube, you got cube. So that means likewise in covariance matrix you multiply by the weights by the covariance matrix. Over here you need the co-skewness matrix also. This is the co-skewness matrix, how you make it, and this you could put it over here and you multiply by the cube of the weights. That will be, inshallah, will be coming also how to multiply it. So you come up with your answer. Now the skewness matrix for a 2 by 2 for a 2 asset case is 2 by 4. Remember covariance matrix was a 2 by 2, but when you add the second moment you multiply by 2, it becomes 2 into 4. And same goes for your kurtosis. It becomes 2 by 2 by 2, that means 2 4 6 2 4 6, and eventually come with 12 entries, if I'm not wrong. Okay, this is how you calculate the co-skewness matrix. And if you remember, this is the skewness and the rest are all co-skewnesses. Like that was the variance and the rest were covariances. So this is the skewness and the rest are co. And where these 3 variables are equivalent, that means 1 1, co-skewness of security 1 1 and 2, and 1 2 1 1 2 1 and 2 2 1. these two are equal, and these three are equal, and these three are equal. Okay, if you make an observation, it is a 1 1 2 and 1 2 1. It does not make any difference. X X Y X Y X. You, in multiplication the order does not matter. And Y X X, that is x square into y, x square into y, x square into y. And this is 1 2 2, that is x into y square. This is x into y square, and this is x into x in the middle and y square. So these are equal. You can do it yourself. Now how to build this matrix? I just make a simple, I take the covariance over here, and this is the, basically you are in a three-dimensional state. In the covariance, you are in a two-dimensional, you are in two dimension. When skewness is there, you add another dimension. So the third dimension is coming over here by 1 2. So what is happening? You are multiplying 1 by 1, it becomes 1 1 1. Then you multiply 1 by 1 2, it becomes 1 2 2. Then you multiply 1 by 2, this one, it becomes 1 2 1. You multiply this one by this one, it becomes 1 2 2. Then again 2 into 1 2 1 1, 2 1 1, and 2 into 1 2, 2 1 2, 2 into 2 1, 2 2 1, like here. And in the last 2 into 2 2, 2 2 2. This is how you make a two asset, two factor co-skewness matrix. Coming to the third moment, this is how you define your kurtosis. Now this is the kurtosis, and this whole is the co-kurtosis. The same what we discussed in the skewness and the variance also. And this is how you define the co-kurtosis. And again, in kurtosis, it is basically with power 4. That means you are multiplying your weights by, if you take this as a kurtosis, then how many weights will be there? 4 weights. So this is the co-kurtosis matrix, co-kurtosis matrix, and the 4 weights have to be multiplied. How we will multiply? We'll be telling that thing. It will be coming in the inshallah. Now, if you observe, this is a kurtosis of all the variables. There are 4 moments. The 4 variables of kurtosis of 1 1 1 1 and kurtosis of 2 2. The rest are co-kurtoses, where if you observe, these are equivalent. That means if you see 1 1 1 2, that is x cube into y, x cube into y, x cube into y, and y into x cube. It does not make any difference if you multiply x cube into y, or you multiply y by x cube, or you multiply such as that x square into y into x. So it makes, these two makes x cube. So this order is there. Then it is x square into y square. Now again x square into y square, x square into y square, x square into y square, x square into y square. The last is x into y cube, x into y cube, x into y cube, x into y cube. And this is tetra x and xy. Okay, how do we build this matrix? Again, this is basically, I'll take the example, I'll make the combination from the skewness, and then I'll add another moment to it. Now this is not a 3-dimensional, it is a 4-dimensional. There are 4 dimensions, and you know this is not, it's not possible to make a 4 dimension over here. You have to take one out. You multiply 1 by this 111, you get this one. Then 1 by 112, you get this one. Then you multiply 1 by this one, you get 1121. Then 1 by this one, 122. Then again 1 by this one, 1211. 1 by this one, 1212. Then 1 by 1 multiply 1 by 221, you get 122. And then in the last over here, that is this. It's not basically multiplication, is combined. Now again 2 with this one, you get this figure. 2 with 112, 2 1 2 1 1 2, 2 with 2 2 1, that is uh, oh, this is a misprint. Okay, this is a misprint. Take it. 2 2 1 1. Okay, misprint. I'll correct it. Sorry. My mistake. My mistake. It is over here. 2 into 1 to 1, 2 1 to 1, 2 into 1 to 2, 2 1 to 2. Now you multiply 2 into 2 to 1. This is over here. It's not a misprint. And 2 into 2 1 2. It's over here. Then 2 into 2 to 1, triple 2 1, and then in the last 2 into 2 2 2. Okay, this is how you make the co-mode, and you can with the help of this thing you can incorporate for 3 asset 4 asset case. If you remember 2 into 8, 2 into 8, it's again 2 into 2 2 2 2 2 fours are 2 fours are 8, 2 into 8. Now there are 8 columns and 2 rows. In the skewness, this was 2 into 4, there were 2 rows and 4 columns. And in the covariance, it was a 2 by 2, 2 rows and 2 columns. Okay, so you have to remember this thing. So once you have defined those steps, so we move forward. Okay, this is how we define it. Now we move to step number 2. So what is happening? This is a very complex problem when we are defining these. So it is easier for the covariance matrix, that is a square matrix. It's a 2 by 2 matrix or 3 by 3. If there are 100 entities, 100 by 100 matrix would be there, and it's quite easier. But when we go at the skewness and kurtosis, this is one of the major reasons. Markowitz avoided this thing, and he assumed that the normal distribution is there, because at that time the computers were not mathematically so sound. Now we've got very strong software. We can use MATLAB, and for a 500 asset case, we can build this big matrix within a few seconds by using the program over here. Okay. So now what we do, we move to step number 2. But before moving to step number 2, what we I'll give you a small, we'll do a small exercise, and we will make the variance, covariance, and the skewness and co-skewness and kurtosis, kurtosis matrix. I'll take the example of skewness also. Kurtosis, you can do it yourself. Okay, okay. Now coming to this data, I've got this data. This is the same old data that we've got, and I'll write over there how. Now you calculate the average over here. Average is the return is equal to average. Okay. Now you've got the average of the first stock return and the second stock return. I'll color that thing to make myself remember. Okay, now I start with the I'll calculate the variance, covariance manually first of all. So this is how you calculate minus this term minus the average of its, and then this term into the minus. So what I do, okay, make it cleaner. I put the F dollar sign over here. So I want to lock it so that it does not change. If you remember how you calculate it, you multiply the figures by their mean values. They come like this. Now make analysis. The values are changing, but the mean remains the same. The values are changing, but the mean remains the same. So you've got these values, and if I want to write, this is 1 minus the, so what I do, I drag this over here and I take the average. Why not a sum then? If I don't need that thing over here, I'll forget. Okay. Now what then? The second step is you make the square of it. So I multiply this thing by this thing, and I make the square of it, and now I take the average. I forgot about that thing. So this is the average of it. So this is, what is this thing? This is the variance, and these two are variances. I've calculated this variance manually. I could have done with the same command over here, is equal to VER, but if I take, sorry, I can take the command, but it's better I take the P also, because it is calculated on the basis of P. That is the population, if you remember. So variance over here are both of them equal. Okay, this is how you calculate the variance. Now how would I calculate the covariance? I multiply 1 by 2. This is an example of 1 by 1. This is an example of 2 by 2. What did I did? I multiplied the first term. This is 1 and this is 2. I define 1 as this value minus the average of it. So this is the 1, the second value, this is 1 1, this is 2 2. And now how do I calculate the covariance? I multiply the 1 and 2 together. And what I do, I sum them, and eventually this is the covariance. If I want to check my covariance, I can check the covariance over here, covar, sorry. This series by this series. So now you see these two values, let me choose a better. So these two values are the same, and these two values are the same. That means there are nothing wrong with our calculation. Now this is our covariance, and this is our variance, this is our variance. So that means if I want to calculate variance, then I want to calculate skewness. So how do I calculate skewness? Is taking this thing, multiplying 1 by the 3 times. That means I multiply this time this by again this by again its own figure, and this is 2 2 2. I drag this thing over here, and we can go there, and eventually I'll copy the formula to get my, and take it at different. So this is skewness, and this is skewness. I have calculated manually. It's not that difficult, and I can go for the formula also. My mistake. So the difference between the two figures is of the population, because if you remember, the variance is calculated of the sample and of the population. Same will be of the population over here. I want to check it, what's the command for, but it's not taking the command, so I'll let it go. Okay, no problem. So if you calculate, I've calculated, this is taken as an average. If I sorry, I'll come again. Okay, and if I do it manually, it's like is equal to sum. I sum them together. Okay, divide by count minus 1, because 1 is the degree. I've got to take it out. Sorry, again. This is the summit, and if I take the count, sorry, some overlapping going on. So this is the count minus 1 is equal to this divided by this. It should be equal. It's a degree of freedom is not 2, it's 2, I think so. 2 or 3 and minus 3. Let me check. These two should be equal. Let me check the formula. But this is how you calculate the skewness for 333 and 222. Now you've got the calculated the skewness. Now what you have to do, I'll take this thing over here, and you have to calculate now the co-skewnesses. Now co-skewness combinations are double x square into y, or that means it will be 112 is equal to 1 into 1 into 2. So I take this value like this, and that means I've calculated, when I've calculated x square into y, that means all these three values are the same. I'll put a line over here so I don't get confused. 121 and 211, all of three have been calculated. Good enough. Now what I have to do, it was 112 x square into y, then x into y square, 122, okay, is equal to 1 into 2 into 2. Okay, so this is how I calculate. I take this, move this thing over here to make it clear, and I drag it to calculate the co-skewness over here. These are the two co-skewnesses we have to, and this is equivalent to 122 is equivalent to 212 is equivalent to 221. So how many have we have calculated? I've got this skewness, co-skewness matrix. This is the skewness, this is the skewness, and co-skewness and co-skewness. So how many variables have been calculated? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 111, 222, done. 112, 121, and 221, 211, done. 212, 221, and 122, 122. Okay, done. All of them complete. Now what I do? Now I take the values over here and build the co-skewness matrix myself, and the skewness and and plus the variance of the covariance is equal to the variance over here, then the variance of the second term over here, then the co-skewness covariance over here, and plus the covariance over here. So this is your variance covariance matrix. Okay. Now co-skewness matrix will put it over here is equal to skewness over here and 1, 2, 3, 4, and the second co-skewness over here. Okay, and the is equal to the first one over here. My mistake. I'm putting the skewness over here, not the. You have got to put the variable over here. Sorry. And the second skewness over here. Okay. Now, coming to the, so we can take the help of this matrix if you want to, and if you observe, it is 1, 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, and 1, 2, 1. These three are equivalent. This one, this one, this one. That means these two are equivalent. One. Sorry. These three, and these three are equivalent. Okay, now we've got the skewness and the co-skewness matrix also. This is the skewness. Now you can also build further. You can do the same procedure for the variance and covariance, kurtosis, co-kurtosis matrix. You can multiply by 1 by 4 times and 2 by 4 times, you get the kurtosis, and then you can use the combination. This is how you do it. Okay, sorry, I want to check the recording also. Now you have completed your step number 1. Now you move to your step number 2. Now what you do, you have to optimize your solution, and irrespective of the other moment. That means you have to maximize the return by only one constraint, that all weights are equivalent to 1. That is very important. That's a very important assumption. This is the only and you can take all weights as non-negative where short sales are not allowed. That is a better one because you don't want to get your weights into minus. You want to be very simple for the time being, and we want to take a simpler problem where short sales are not allowed. And when short sales are not allowed, that means your all weights will be non-negative. They can be 0 or they can be positive. Okay, this is the first problem, P1. I give the problem first, the P1 to it, and you maximize the return, and I give a, and this is the maximum return it can be, irrespective. We are not taking any other constraint. Okay, and the matrix version is like it's a row matrix. You multiply this thing by this thing and then go for the optimization function as we have studied in the past, and it will give you a then coming to the second one, this is the variance function, and this is the matrix operation for it. And this, if you remember, you have this minimizing of the variance. Now we are minimizing the second moment irrespective of the other moment. This is the minimum value you can attain for this set. And then we maximize the third one. Let me get this thing also. We maximize the skewness because the first and 3 moments are to be maximized. The second and fourth has to be minimized. Okay, there is only one condition, that all weights are equivalent to 1, and this is the cubical nature. We have 3 weights and we have to multiply this there. Now there is a problem. What is happening? If you observe, we are using a new concept over here. We are not multiplying directly. We are multiplying by the Kronecker product. This is something new for you, and we will be doing that thing in the future. Then the fourth moment is again maximize, and there are it's a cubical. It's got the power of 4 in it. That means that's why we have got 4 weights, and again we are multiplying by the Kronecker product. We are not using just simple multiplication. Why? There is a problem. Actually, in a two asset case, your X is a 2 by 1 matrix, and your skewness co-skewness matrix is a 2 by 4 matrix, and kurtosis is 2 by 8 matrix. Okay, but when we multiply, multiply X bar by this one by X by X, this problem is stated as this is a 2 by 1, this is 2 by 4, this is 2 by 1, 2 by 1. Whatever we do, we cannot get an answer of 1 by 1. Same goes for the kurtosis also. So Kronecker helps us, a product helps us convert. For example, if we multiply X by X, this is a 2 by 1 matrix, this is a 2 by 1 matrix, we can get two answers. What? If you take the inverse of it, it becomes 1 by 2, and we multiply by 2 by 1, the answer is 1 by 1. Or we don't take the inverse, we take its inverse, it becomes 2 by 1 into 1 by 2. So the inner product is the same, so we get a 2 by 2 matrix. 2 by 2 does not solve the problem, because in where we've got 2 by 4 and 2 by 8, we can't get 1 by 1 in the end. So Kronecker product helps us solve this problem. When you multiply using the Kronecker product of the 2 by 1 matrix, we can get a 4 by 1 matrix. Now when you get a 4 by 1 matrix, we multiply this thing by 4 by 1. So inner product is the same, so we get a 2 by 1 matrix. And again, we take the inverse of X, the 1 by 2 into 2 by 1, we get a 1 by 1. And same for the Kronecker in the kurtosis, X into X into X, we multiply 3X, that is 2 by 1 into by 2 by 1 into 2 by 1, we can get an 8 by 1 matrix. Then we multiply 8 by 2 by 8 into 8 by 1, we can get by 2 by 1 matrix, and then multiply by this inverse matrix 1 by 2, so we can. So in this Kronecker product helps us obtain a closed form solution for the optimization case when the skewness and kurtosis is used. Now, how do we use Kronecker? It is basically donated by this thing, and you can read this thing yourself. There is no problem, because we've got very limited time. If two matrices are multiplied, and there are two row matrices, 2 by 2, 2 by 2. So that means if you multiply 2 by 1 matrix by 2 by 1 matrix using a Kronecker, so the answer would be 4 by 1 matrix. 4 by 1 matrix. So how does it works? First of all, you have to write 1 and 2 and multiply each one by the two figures over here. So it becomes 1 into 3, 1 into 4, 2 into 3, 2 into 4, 3, 4, 6, 8 is your new matrix, that is 4 into 1. This is not possible using simple multiplication, but using Kronecker product you can do it. You can, in our case, X are the same, X1, this is X1 and this is X2. So I have given you an example of this thing. Actually our case would be like this. There are two weights, X1 into X2, X1 X2, X1 X2 multiply. So this is, first of all, you're getting X1 square, X1 X2, X1 X2 and X2 square. So what we are getting, X1 square 1, second row X1 X2, X2 X1 is the one, these two are the same, and the last is X2 square. So it is a 4 by 1 matrix. We can solve it for, and this will help in the skewness one. Now what happens now to optimize the skewness? This optimization problem was there, because when we multiply this thing, it is 1 by 2, I'll come again, then 2 by 4, and if you don't use the Kronecker, it is 2 by 1 and 2 by 1. So whatever we do, if I take the inverse of this thing, it becomes 1 by 2. So multiplying this by this, I get 1 by 1. And multiplying this by this matrix, I get 1 by 4. So I can't move further. I cannot get a solution. So I go for the Kronecker product. Instead of simple multiplication, I will use the Kronecker product. I will get a 4 by 1 answer over here and multiply this thing by it. The inner product is the same, so I get 1 by 1 answer. So coming here, so this is X, this is your skewness co-skewness matrix, and this is your Kronecker product. So when you go for the Kronecker product, you get a 4 by 1 matrix. You multiply this matrix by this matrix, that is 1 by 2 into 2 by 2, 2 by 4. You get inner product is the same. You get a 1 by 4 matrix, and this 4 into 1. So eventually get answer. For kurtosis is the same. You've got the Kronecker product is x1 x cube x1 square cube x1 cube x1 square into x2 x2 x square x1 square into 2 x2 and x1 into x square, then x2 into x1 square x2 square and x1 x square x2 square into x1 and x2 x cube. These are the, this becomes like this, x1 cube, the second is x1 square into x2, then the third is x1 into x1 square. Sorry, it's very difficult to write over here. And then x1 and x1 x2. Now you go for this thing, x1 x1 square x2, and then coming x2 square x1 into x2 square, then x square into x1 sorry, I'll write over here, x1 into x2 square, and the last is x cube. This is also cube. So you get 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. You get a 8 by 1 matrix. You multiply this one by this matrix, you get a 1 by 8 product, and 8 by 1 inner product the same, you get the answer. Now this is a closed form solution. Previously it was not possible, it was impossible using the simple multiplication. So what you have to do, now you have to make the, using the Kronecker product, you have to optimize. So I hope you are getting some breath also over here. So coming here, we come back to this, and I'll take this thing out because this is not needed now, and I'll take these things out. And I'll bring the Kronecker over here. Let me clear the way. So in order to get the Kronecker, so what you have to do, you have to build a matrix of x1 square, x1 x2 x2 1 or x1. Now what I do, I take the weights over here, that is x and put x1. I make it a row matrix. Row matrix are easier because the study does. This is x1 and this is total. All sums should be equivalent to something. Okay, so I put 0 here is equal to 0 here to make us remember what is happening. Or okay, now this is a row matrix x1. So what I need, I multiply. I need x1, x1. So that is equivalent to this into this. Okay. Then I need x1 and x2. That is this into x2. The third thing I need is x2 square. x2 into x2. That is this into this. I'm going for a very simple way. So you get 3 answers. This is x1. Now you can build a matrix over here, and this matrix is equivalent to, first of all, put the x over here is equal to is equal to x1 is equal to x2. I'll give another. This is how. So you multiply 1 into 2. 1 into 2 is equal to 2 into 4. So the product is 1 into 4. Good. Then I write the second. Now the Kronecker over here is equal to x1 square then x1 x2 then x2 x1, these are both the same, and x2 square. So this is a 4 by 1 matrix. Now we multiply this thing by this thing, so we get a 1 by 1 matrix. Now this is a very tedious way and not a right way of doing that thing, but I'll make the thing simpler. Why not go for the simple matrix separations? That is MMULT into transpose of this matrix into covariance matrix. Sorry, we can't get the Kronecker product over here, so this thing would be more appropriate. I'll directly multiply. So we multiply this thing. Sorry, put the MMULT also over here, and then eventually if I put, to check it, I put 0.6 over here, 0.4 over here, not over here, sorry. Point 0.6 over here, 0.4 over here. I get all the figures. I have to, sorry, correct it because it was taken away. So I get an answer. It's not an optimization answer, but I can. Now how to optimize this thing? You get into data, solver, optimization equation. It's skewness, so it's maximizing, changing cells. Sorry, this is the changing cells, and constraint add, it should be equivalent to 1. Because I've already given the values over here. The cell values do not converge. Achha, they do not converge, that means there is a problem over here. I have to recheck it. We have multiplied transpose by this thing. First we multiply this thing by this thing, and let me check it. Oh, sorry, I did not go for the brackets. No, it's a bracket. No, solution. Sorry, mistake was that there. I did not put the brackets over here. I did not go for the Control Shift and Enter command. They have converged. Okay, solver has converged the current solution, and all constraints have been satisfied. Your solution is here. Now this is the skewness. This is skewness static answer over here. And if you want to go for the you want to calculate the variance also, the variance star also, so you put a value over here, that is MMULT into transpose of the weight matrix, that is the weight matrix, into the covariance matrix, that is 1 by 2 into 2 by 2, then again by multiplying by 2 by 1 matrix. Oh, sorry, I did not put MMULT. Now what I do, now I change the cell, and this is the cell I want to, and it will be, this is the cell I want to do it. This is minimizing, the rest are the same, solve, and I get a solution. So I get this V star using this thing, and this is the sorry, I did not save this cube, because when I change the weights were changed, this answer is also changed. So what I do, I put this thing over here and copy it to make myself remember. This is the variance star. Now I go back again, I change the skewness one, make it maximize, change it. The cells did not converge. Why did not it converge? Okay, it's a maximum, and okay, now they have come. Now get at the skewness also, pay special, and the only one thing that is left is the return also. So for return, or return star, I again go for this. This is a column matrix. This is a 1 by 2 matrix and the weight is 2 by 1. So if I simply multiply 1 by 2 by 2 by 1, I get the answer. Okay, now what I do, I go for the solver, maximize, but now you have to maximize what? The return one. So I solve it, the answer is there, and I get an answer for the return. Okay, I made a mistake. Why don't you we go for the step again and add the constraint that all these weights are to be greater than or equivalent to 0 to go for the short sales. So the feasible answer is now 29. So I'll change the solver, make it minimum, and go for the variance equation also. This is the variance equation. I'll solve it. Now the variance has been changed. It becomes like this. And again change the for skewness problem. So it's better you make more sheets and do it independently so that the things don't get mixed up. Now skewness is changed altogether. So now you get these optimized points. I saved the file also. Now you can go for the kurtosis yourself. And inshallah I hope it will be done. So step number 1 and step number 2 done. Now we move to the step number 3. Now once you have calculated all the maximum values, so you move to the third step and you optimize all the 4 moments in one function and give some preference to the investors. So you calculated R static, variance static, that's the return static, variance static, skewness static, and the kurtosis static. These are the optimized values that you can get. Now what you add, because these values are optimized, there has to be, when you put all of the 4 moments together, they won't come to these level. They won't come to these level. So you have to add some distance, some values to it to make it equivalent. It should make them equivalent. So what I'm doing over here, this value is big, and when I'll optimize by return with respect to variance, skewness, and kurtosis, it won't be equivalent to this one. It will be always less. So I add a D1 over here. And when I'll minimize, this is the minimum value. When I'll minimize, it won't come to this value. So I have to subtract more in order to bring this thing to equivalent. When I'll maximize my skewness with respect to mean, variance, and kurtosis, my value will never come to this thing. So I have to add this thing. And for likewise kurtosis over here, short sales not allowed, all weights over here. D values are always more than 0 or equivalent to 0 or more than 0. And the second value is the lambda over here. These lambdas gives us the preference point over here. Now this is now our new optimization problem, where we define a new function, that is g, that is the distance over here divided by the optimized return, the D2 divided by optimized variance, optimized D3 divided by optimized skewness, D4 divided by kurtosis, and the preference over here. Why this thing is this? Because if you remember, this is what skewness is, and this is the variance over here. So when is mean or variance, mean and variance, this is no problem. Okay. When we go to the skewness, we try to maximize the skewness over here to get the maximum benefit of the skewness over here. And when we go for the kurtosis, these are the three types, and this is the normal distribution, and these two. So we try to minimize the kurtosis over here. So what is happening now? We make an analysis. We are maximizing our return. When we are maximizing our return irrespective of other moments, so this gives us this value. But when we maximize our return with respect to variance, skewness and kurtosis, the value will come down. It will never go up. So we have to add a distance to it, D1, to make it equivalent to this one. Now when we are minimizing the variance irrespective of the other moments, so the value will go down. But when we are minimizing the variance with respect to return, skewness and kurtosis, it will come down, but it won't go to this level. So we subtract this value to make it more or less. Then skewness again the maximum, and add the distance over here, and kurtosis to the minimum and add the subtract the distance over here. This is how you do it. If you now come back to the, now look over here, we are adding the distance, we are subtracting the distance, we are adding the distance, we are subtracting the distance. We are adding the distance to make it equivalent. We are subtracting to bring it the value to bring it more down. The value might be over here, for example, is 5, or over here is 10. So we have to subtract to bring it to 5. The value over here is 20, for example, and over here is 10. We have to add to bring it to 20. The value over here is, for example, 10, and for example it comes up to 20. So we have to minus to bring it to 10. That's why we are subtracting and adding. This is the concept. You have to make yourself clear about it. So now coming to this thing, okay, what are the lambdas? Lambdas are the preference point. You can go this thing yourself. This is very simple because I've got time constraint over here. Now coming to the lambdas, because we've solved this problem. We had in the beginning, if you remember, I'll come back to the basic point. We had this problem where we have the non-convex, non-smooth optimization. We have solved this problem. We have to maximize these two and minimize these two. We in one simultaneously. We have done so. We have all done this thing, but over this was the problem that has to be solved yet. Okay, what are the investor preferences that I came up with? So, coming to the investor preference, now I'll give you an example. This says return, this is variance, this is skewness, and this is kurtosis. What is investor preferring? The investor is preferring that mean and variance and reject skewness and kurtosis altogether. That means when it gives you a 0, 0 value, so these functions become of no use, and the 1, 1 value over here, the power means you are going for the mean variance framework will equal weighted, that is the Markowitz case. That means even this our method is following the Markowitz efficient frontier formula, and this is when we take the lambda as 1, 1. Now coming back again, if you take 1 and 2, though it's a mean variance, the skewness and kurtosis are rejected, but the person says I am more interested in the risk as compared to the mean. The person is giving more weights to it. You can give a weight of 2, weight of 3. Over here this person is maximizing the return and giving one less weight to the risk. All of these are the example of mean variance but this case is Marquard's case, the rest are your own cases over here. In this example, in the second one, a person is giving no weights to kurtosis. That means the kurtosis function will become of no value, of no use, and the person investor is giving equal weights to mean, variance, and skewness. Over here, the person is giving more weights to mean and less to skewness and variances. More weight to mean and skewness, variance, but less weight to skewness, and likewise. Now coming to the fourth function, the person is giving all weights to all mean, variance, skewness, and kurtosis, and all are equally weighted. But over here, skewness becomes more important. Variance becomes more important, and over here, skewness becomes more important. This is basically your mean, variance. So coming back to the function, these lambda values give us the investor preference, and every investor has his or own preferences. What you do, you have calculated this, and you have calculated this, you have calculated the skewness, optimize at this. Now make another function where there will be make a cell of D1, D2, D3, D4, and then put a constraint like this. Just put it like this, and then you have to, and that constraint will be equivalent to R bar. Okay, that constraint will be equivalent to R bar, and all weights equal to 1, and this constraint has been always there. So when you minimize this function using different lambda values, you have to go for the lambda values also. You'll come up with different values and then make an analysis. If I come back, it's God. If I come back to the Excel sheet, now what you have to do, you have to make D values also, D1 to D4 lambda, lambda. If you can insert this symbol of lambda also. This is the symbol, okay. Insert lambda, lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda 3. You might not get confused. And equivalent to 0 for the time being, equivalent to 0. Equivalent to 0, equivalent to 0, equivalent to 0, equivalent to 0. Copy this thing and put it over here. Now you can define a function z over here. Before defining z, it's better you define the first function, that is first function is d divided by now R bar. With the power of lambda. With the power of lambda. Because the power is 0, so for the timing I put 1, 1, 1, 1, and D also 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, you get some answer. It's not a problem. So you get the first function, then you make the second function, and you go for the all 4 functions over here. I put the line, and you make. This is basically your getting z. Each function. Now go for the z. It will be equivalent to this one, and if you remember, it will be sorry, plus rather sum of all these functions. Okay, okay. If you remember, it is sum of all these functions. Okay, you get this thing. Now, when you will be optimizing, so now you'll be optimizing. You put this this cell will be this cell over here, the Z1, and you have to minimize. And now you have to add two constraints over here. And what are the constraints? What are the constraints? These are the constraints. I'll make it larger. These are the constraints. You have already I have added these two constraints all over there. You have to add these two constraints. First of all, this one, and this constraint. That means you multiply the weight matrix by the R matrix by normal returns, and plus D is equal to make it equivalent to this thing. That means I can copy that thing over here by rather going every time here and there. Okay, I'll copy that thing over here. Okay. So this is the weight. If you remember, this is the simple matrix, simple your R matrix, where this one, this you copy that thing over here. I'll just take an example. Is equal to copy plus D1. Where is D1? D1. Okay, this is the first constraint. So when you add this constraint, so you add this one, will be equivalent to what? To this answer. Where is the answer? This. Okay, close. Same wise, you construct for the variance, for the skewness and the kurtosis, and add and subtract D1, D2, D3, 4. Now when you optimize Z, you keep on changing this lambdas 1 1 1 1 1 1 0 0. And what is the combination you have to take? You can take any combination. Though I have given some combination, you have to attempt them. There are how many combinations? For mean variance, these are 3 combinations. For mean variance and skewness, there are 3 and 3, 6 combinations. And for mean variance, skewness and kurtosis, there are 3 combinations. That means 3 and 3, 6, and 9 and 12. 12 times you have to attempt this thing. Now this will be your work, and you, eventually you have to submit it, and eventually you'll come to know yourself what the answers are different for different preference levels, and when you'll and for different moments also. And we can make analysis of our answer. Though this answer is incomplete because we are not using any benchmarks. When benchmarks are being used, so we can select the best combination. Jazakumullah khair. This is all we have, and these are the references you want. This is a Pakistani paper also, and therefore some conference and other papers also. There are many papers. I've taken the simplest of all. Okay, Jazakumullah khair.